once you understand what's moving and not moving to drive your purchasing decisions, I think it becomes a little bit easier to now zoom out and say, okay, well, what are the options that my different customer types have when they walk into the store, right? Okay, we focus on buying more of the best-selling stuff. That's great. But if you want to define the retail experience even further, you should think about your product assortment. This is the view that I like to show here in retail analytics. And so this is on our product line performance page. And what we're looking at is essentially your assortment of cartridges by brand with gross margin on the y-axis. So anything closer to the top is going to tell you really what you make more money on. And everything and the x-axis, so as things move further to the right, it's going to tell you basically the price point that the customer sees the product at when they shop on your e-com or they shop in the store, right? So the size of the bubbles is how fast these products move. So my turn cartridges, on average, not per cartridge, but the brand of turn cartridges, we sell 36.6 units per day on days in which it's on the sales floor. And so if you see like a big bubble like turn right next to Kingpen here, you're seeing essentially that your margins are pretty much the same. The price point is pretty much the same for the end consumer, but one of these sells a lot more than the other, right? And so if we think about that whole life cycle of the true cost of bringing in a SKU, you can start to think about, hey, how much money could I save if I don't buy this anymore, right? And I could A/B test and say, we're not going to carry this for the next month. See what happens to the comparable SKUs. See if you're able to purchase more of things people are buying and get wholesale discounts, right? So anyways, I think you get where I'm going with this. But if you go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I love this view from a retail perspective. When I was working in retail, and even now, I'm working with one retail company right now that we're kind of going through and picking out new brands to carry. I'm in the Michigan market for those that aren't familiar. But Michigan is very much going through a compression period where prices are just dropping and people are competing to get people in the door. And so one strategy I see retailers using is kind of looking at this particular data to figure out where their margins can be the highest, right? And so like you want to be able to carry something that you're going to make margins on and sells through faster as compared to you might not want to carry the hottest brand out there. If the hottest brand out there is Jeter. Jeter's a new entrant, California brand. They're in Arizona, but they just came to Michigan as well. But if everybody's competing for that Jeter customer and they're all doing it by dropping their prices, maybe you don't want to carry it. And this is a great view to be able to look at that data and say, hey, I'm not going to, even if I can sell 100 Jeters a day, I'm not going to make that much on it. So why don't I carry another brand that has similar value to that Jeter pre-roll, but is actually going to have way higher margins for me. And being able to see it visually like this is like, typically I have to pull 10 different spreadsheets and put it all together to get that data. So being able to see it visually, like that gets me super excited.